So in the box, you get a Intensa Plus Brita filter that is meant to help with water hardness. You get, of course, the plug. You get a warranty certificate, instruction manual, one water hardness test, lubricant, lubricate certain parts of your brew group and the rails and all the external parts. And you have a scoop for the bypass tray. And at the end of it, you have the key to life. No, the key for the grind setting adjustment. Actually get little handles right here to help you lift it up, but I just found it easier to do it without. It's not the sturdiest, so I would still use something to support that. Your drip tray. Okay, there are a lot of instructions, important safeguards, caution, instructions for the power supply, important information, all of the warnings. I would suggest that you go through this fun process, at least in case you do something stupid. You wouldn't want to ruin your very expensive machine. And as they said, save these instructions. Might come in handy. One of the things I really appreciate with this screen is that it makes it a lot easier to play with your settings and to get instructions on what to do. And after choosing your language, it's now walking me through the different steps, so I don't even need to look at the instruction manual. I mean, you should, but this is very, very handy. I don't have to do a lot of guesswork. Ah, see, I just do what it tells me to do. I just filled up the water tank up to the max line, or close to. Oh, I think it's gonna purge. Let's put the frothing 12-ounce jug underneath. This does not come with the machine. It does not come with a frothing jug. You will need to get your own. And let's just lower this nozzle down. Oh, you gotta press on the sides and then drag it down. Oh, it's underneath. So we can just reduce the splatter. Then just getting that ready. I think it's gonna do a rinse. Oh, there it is. First time it's operating. Oh. Oh, okay. So I gotta set the water hardness. I wish it came with another water test strip, but you can easily buy these on Amazon or probably your local coffee retailer. So 1 second, and then wait 1 minute. Okay, Google, timer 1 minute. Okay, a minute has passed and it looks like I have 2 red squares, which means my water is soft. Can we just marvel at how simple this is? It literally just walks you through it. See? Water strip, screen. Water strip, screen. Amazing. I like these little soft touch buttons too. Hopefully they'll last and they won't lose its rubbery feeling with time. Oh, and there we go. Let it do its thing. Well, you know what? I was wondering if I had to rinse this thing beforehand, but basically, yes, but it's doing it all for me. Some negatives with this drip tray is it's fingerprint prone, but not only that, but I've barely used this machine. I put the cup on it, the ceramic mug, 1 time on it, and I did read that it could get scratches, but I wasn't expecting to happen that fast. You see that? There's already scratches on this from that 1 ceramic mug I put for the rinse cycle. That is gonna age quickly and badly. What's up, YouTube friends? I'm overly caffeinated and we're here to talk about the Superautomatic Gaggia Cadorna Barista Plus. What a mouthful. This is a pretty new machine. It's been out in the last year, but I think in North America it's been out for the last few months. This specific model has a professional barista steam wand, hence the name Barista Plus. And it comes only in black. So that's your choice, black and black. Since it's a pretty new model, there isn't very much information online. So let's go through the entire thing, shall we? As you can see, it's quite big. I'm gonna put all the measurements overlaid right here because I don't remember them by heart. So just make sure you have enough space. It is a 3-prong plug that does pop out like this. So depending on where your outlet is and where you're installing your coffee maker, it could end up eating some space back here. You won't be able to push it flush against the wall. So that's just something to keep in mind. Because of the vents being on the sides, both sides, especially the steam, even though the water tank is on this side, the steam comes out from this side. I actually have to have it centered on this whole thing. And this is a big boy. Takes up quite a bit of room. Nothing out of the ordinary for a super automatic. They're all quite similar in terms of size. If you don't know what a super automatic is, essentially it is a machine that makes espresso-like coffee. So just like very strong coffee, but it's not pure espresso. So if you're an espresso purist and you're a coffee snob and everything, this is obviously not a machine for you. If you come from a mocha pod or an espresso and you want cup to bean, this is something that you would look at. If you are really lazy, or if you have a lot of people in your household, or if you're in a small office, this is a machine that you would want to go for. If you're really into the tuning and dialing and every single bean and the temperature and everything, which I've realized I kind of am, but more on that later, then this is a machine that's not for you. That sentence got really long, so I hope that made sense. Let's talk about a couple of the externals. So it's all a plastic casing, available only in black, unfortunately. There is a passive cup warmer on the top, which just means that the internals of the machine heats it up. I find this absolutely useless. A passive cup warmer in any machine is very useless, but that's something that you want. The water tank is here. It fits 1.5 liters. One thing to note is that even though it is 1.5 liter capacity, it will tell you to refill the water before that. You have a adjustable nozzle here for your coffee, and you have a little, oh, see, it comes out though, that's the problem. I don't know why it comes out sometimes for me. But you have a little tray right here for your espressos, which is really cool. You have your drip tray with a little floater. What I don't like about the floater is that even when it's empty, you still see it at the surface here, but when it's full, it does pop up. You can fit quite a bit of a tall glass up here, so you can fit a nice tumbler here. There's all the buttons here. The buttons seem very durable. It's a soft, kind of rubbery feeling button. There's like a little bit of a cutout through the LED light, so I believe that this will last. In terms of durability, maybe the soft rubber will fade with time. It's not like painted on text that's going to be on the outside, so that will last, which is a good thing. Everything is so easy to change on this. I looked at the DeLonghi machines originally, and the settings and everything in there was such a nightmare. So in terms of dialing in your espresso, just like playing with your water quantities, playing with your water temperature, playing with your grind setting. Well, grind setting is in the hopper, so that's different. It's a mechanical thing. And playing with bean dose, which is the amount of coffee that you're gonna be grinding. All of that is very, very easy to manipulate using this TFT color screen. This does cost about $1,600. On this side, you have the puck container. It says you can fit 10 pucks, but sometimes I actually get less than that, and it tells me I have to empty out the container. I guess it's the way the pucks fall and how wet they are or not. And sometimes it'll just like stack in a way that you're not fitting 10 in there. It's not the biggest deal. Pucks for the 5 bean, by the way, I've consistently got it about 15 to 16 grams. I was told it'd be 7 to 11 grams, but that's not been my experience. So you do go through quite a bit of coffee. You're giving up controls of a semi-auto and everything. If that's something that you're into, this is not the machine for you. But this is also something that you have to factor in if you're looking at price and cost and everything, that you are using more beans than you would on a semi-auto, but you're saving time because you press a button. You press several buttons, but it's just, everything is very quick and very easy, which is top notch. So your drip tray, you pull out here. So when it's full, it's kind of difficult, you see, to get. Let me just empty that out. It's a little bit gross. Slide it out. If you wanted to empty out the drip tray a bit less, or pretty much never at all, what you would do is you would have a empty cup in there to just get all of the water when it's rinsing. I would say at the beginning, the rinse cycle, when you turn it on, it is about 2 ounces, and when it shuts off, it rinses on its own too, so very little maintenance that you have to do in that. The instruction manual is incredibly clear. They give you a whole chart about frequency cleaning, what to do, when to do it. Just set yourself a calendar reminder in your like Gcal or iCal or whatever Cal. Maybe you have a personal assistant that's named Cal, then ask him to set it for you. So as I mentioned, that this is a super automatic. It has a plastic group head. You don't like your hot water touching your plastic, and that's not something you're willing to look away from, then don't get a super automatic, because they're all plastic, unfortunately. And because they're all plastic, that's why I said they weren't able to create real espresso, because the pressure is a fake pressure. It's not pressure created by the beans and everything. So this is your group head. You have to empty this out and clean this out. Oh, look, it's a bit dirty. You got to clean that out. Then you would just rinse this once a week. Really easy. So there is some maintenance to do on this machine, and if you take good care of it, it will last. My sister has a Krupp Superautomatic. She's had for 8 years. It's still going strong. Unfortunately, because it is a super automatic, if one part breaks, like your grinder or something breaks, then you are kind of screwed because you have a gigantic paperweight. You can get them serviced usually though, so that's not really the biggest of deals. Speaking of beans and clogging and everything, you cannot use oily beans on this. You can't use flavored beans. Don't even try, don't even do it, just don't. Even in the single dose, which you can do, that's more for decaf, you will not be using that for flavored beans. It's advised to not do that because you're gonna clog the machine. There's a little bit of daily cleaning. The machine will rinse itself in and out. If you're using the steam wand, you purge before and after, clean it because the hot milk will cake on it. You don't want milk to get stuck in there because if it does, then not great. Once a week, you'll take this out, you'll clean everything with hot soapy or warm soapy water. You know, you'll rinse out the brew head, no soap, just water. Everything, like I said, is clearly in the instruction manual. Cleaning once a week will take you 5 minutes at most. Just do it in the evening or whenever you're done drinking your coffee, and then just let it air dry so you don't get any lint or anything on it. Next day, just put everything back together. It's very, very simple. It is a single boiler, which means that you can only do coffee and milk separately. You can't do them at the same time. That machine would cost way more. I don't even know if there are super automatics, not in this price range anyway, that offer that. You're gonna make yourself a milk-based espresso drink. From turning it on, letting it heat up, pre-rinse, everything, you'll have a whole thing done in under 5 minutes. It does not come with a milk frother, which I was kind of surprised about and a little bit upset about. Not a big deal, you could buy these online for like 15 bucks. I would suggest you get one with measurement lines inside just because it makes it easier to figure out all of your milk quantities. There are grind settings inside the bean hopper. You have to do it while it's running, otherwise the grinder is not gonna be so great. Going coarser, you may not need to run the machine, but otherwise if you're going finer, think about all of those beans in there crushing. Do it when it's running. You'll probably need 2 to 3 shots before you really taste the difference and get all of those, you know, the grind retention, get all the grinds that are in the grinder out, and then you'll taste the difference. I found that the water quantity, the grind settings were the biggest factors in changing the taste of the espresso, of course the bean as well. Everything you read online in terms of what a real espresso machine does, like a semi-auto or an auto versus a super automatic, they don't really apply to a super automatic. So you gotta take that information with a grain of salt. And what the manual says, it says that the ristretto has a shorter brew time, but it didn't. When I timed it, they were both about 14 seconds. So I'm guessing it's the algorithm that's doing something different. But you have 10 different grind settings that you could play with. You go a bit finer, you go a bit coarser. I found that generally what the instruction manual said was pretty accurate. If you're going medium to light, you'll go around the 5 grind setting. If you're going for a lighter roast, which generally, in my opinion, doesn't really taste that great in an espresso, not to this untrained tongue anyway, you'd be going 1 to 5. That would be it for the bean hopper. Let's brew some coffee. You don't understand how much coffee I've been having last week. It's been a lot of coffee. Let's go. By the way, you'll see that the drip tray here and the little espresso tray has holes right here for the rinse water to go through, so it goes right into the drip tray. I found that it didn't splash very much, which is pretty awesome. But I'm just gonna let it go right in the drip tray because that's how I do it. I just empty out the drip tray more. See, it goes right through there. Isn't that fun? So here are the settings that you have on the first screen. You got espresso, coffee, steam, hot water, espresso, lungo, americano, ristretto. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different coffee settings plus hot water plus steam. You have the on-off button, you have your favorites, you have the home, clean and setting, start, stop. Very straightforward. Love the button layout. Love how this all looks and works. in each of these settings, you can play with the water quantities, up, down, very easy. Play with the temperature, high, medium, low. You could play with pre-dose or the bean hopper. You could do a double dose or not. And when it does a double dose, it actually grinds, tamps, brews twice. So you get a nice strong espresso right there. You get to play with your bean quantities. And then you can also save any of these. So let's say I played with this and I'm playing with all the different settings and I'm like, I want to double. I'm like, I like this is good. I can save it, choose my profile, let's go on this one. Beverage successfully saved in your profile. And so when you turn on the espresso machine and you want to choose that espresso, if you're one person or you have multiple different settings that you want to play with, you would go in here, you would click on this and you click start. You can go to home, you can go back, go home, go back anytime. And I save some of my profiles in here. You can only add one type of beverage per profile, but you can set up as many of the five types of coffee that you want in here, which is really cool. So everybody, if you're multiple people in your household, or if you have multiple profiles of different espresso quantities that you want to drink, you can also set those different profiles right there. And in your clean and settings, you have descaling, brew group clean. These are the two types of cleanings that you have to do. The brew group is something that you would do, I think, about monthly, but the instruction manual has clear instructions on when to do that. Descaling would depend on your water hardness. That would be a few times a year. Essentially, rinsing the brew group and rinsing all of the parts would be weekly. Brew group clean would be, I think, about monthly, and then descaling would be a few times a year. So that is your cleaning schedule, if you will. In the settings, you can play with the language, your water filter. This is if you use the Intenza Plus filter. Then you have your standby time. You can set it to auto shut off, and that's when it'll do the rinse at the end. You can play with 50 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 180 minutes. I have it set to 30, but that you can change. You can also change your units, which is really cool, between millimeters and ounces. You can adjust your water hardness here, very easy. It has a fun counter to show you how many coffees you've consumed. I've consumed a lot in a week. I don't know if I've consumed all of them. There's a couple that were throwaway shots, but 62 espressos, 31 ristrettos, and 1 espresso lungo. Does it show that I'm wired on coffee? Probably, but this is generally how I am anyway. Then you can go to factory settings. That's pretty much it. Now let's make ourselves a flat white. Woo! 3:30 p.m. I'm gonna be up all night again. So, it's quarantine, who cares what's time? Let's start the espresso. It's actually not that noisy. If you have somebody sleeping in another room, in a 1-bedroom condo, they might hear it, but it's not that noisy otherwise. Is it having a little bit of a trouble getting the coffee here? You have a dark hopper, which is good, so it's supposed to help with UV light getting in. It doesn't seal, though there's no rubber gasket, but that will help you with keeping those beans as fresh as possible. But if you're into like bean freshness and everything, I've done deep dives on the r/coffee subreddit, and these people go to a level that I'm not at. Usually when I'm making my espresso, this is when I'll throw in a little bit of maple syrup because I like my sugar. I have my milk jug in the fridge because that's what people said to do if you really want it to be nice and cold. Set my milk in there. Let me just show you that beautiful crema. You can see that for yourself. Oh, a little bit of splashing happening. Enjoy. Oh. See, it's telling me to empty my coffee cup container, even though there's not that many pucks in there, so that's kind of a bummer. I bet you if I just move it around, the sensor will change. There you go. Now I click on steam and start that. I'll want to purge the water coming out of there first because I don't want that to make my milk more watery. This takes about 35 seconds to heat up, I would say. Make sure you have a towel too that's nice and wet to be ready to clean off the steam wand once you're done using it so it doesn't cake onto there. Keep in mind that this will get very hot. So use this if you need to touch it or manipulate it. If not, you will burn yourself. It is hot. Of course, I've tested it on purpose for you people, of course. Is that very weird? I'm just like popping in and out like that in a blurry format. And then we start that. Get that little paper tearing sound to get the air in there. And I make myself a flat white. So I also suck at latte art, so please don't expect anything. I've been posting that on my Instagram. It's been quite the journey of people guessing what I'm doing. I thought I did a heart today. People saw testicles, so what do I know? And oh, you can also unscrew this. So when you're doing your weekly cleaning, that's something that you should do, just like unscrew it and give it a deeper cleaning. I like to purge. I know I'm letting this sit and that's not good, but I also just don't want to forget that cleaning. Get the bubbles out. Pretend that you're a quarantine and that you know what you're doing. I don't, but let's try. By the way, this is a cup I got at Cirque du Soleil when I went with my mom in Calgary last year in Banff. I have that on a vlog on my channel if you want to see the self-promotion. So. And I made something resembling a heart, a rose. It's a something. It's a something. Cheers. I have to admit, the ease of use of this machine is incredible. Now, I'm personally returning this, and the company that I bought it from has been really awesome and very helpful, and they saw how interested I was in trying to dial this machine in, and I was starting to taste the nuances and realized that I'm a little bit more of a coffee snob than I thought I was initially. And so even though my sister has a super auto, my company has a super auto, and I've been absolutely happy with those. At first, I really didn't want to take coffee as a hobby and do all of the grinding, the tamping and everything, but I've actually found some semi-autos that help automate some of those parts. So I found that a bit more interesting. I'm actually really happy with the texture of this milk. It's very, very good. Flat white texture. Gotten better. So that's personally my reason for going to a semi-auto, because quarantine is not letting up anytime soon, even though a vaccine is somewhere around the corner. So why not take up coffee as a hobby? What else am I gonna do? When I had a friend over and I was making coffee, it was incredibly easy. Just press the button, continue chatting, didn't have to like play with all of the tamp and the portafilter. If you are happy with espressos and mocha pots and want something easy, this is great. And you want the ability to play with the steam. But everything I explained on this is pretty much the same except for the steam wand for the other Cadornas. You have the Cadorna Prestige that has the milk carafe in there. It'll make all of your milk foam for you, and you have more coffee settings because you have the milk-based coffee settings in there. The rest of it pretty much works the same. The cleaning will be a little bit different for the Cadorna Prestige ones with the milk carafe. It's not that much more cleaning. It's a different audience, I suppose. This is the only super auto that I found that actually had the steam wand in it, so that you could have the automation of the coffee, but still play with the latte art, still get that nice foam, which really, really affects the taste and the mouthfeel. If this review helps you out, please leave a thumbs up, because it lets me know that it's helping people, which is always nice encouragement. You know, while you're here, subscribe. You can follow me on my coffee journey, because I'm going to be getting another machine and reviewing all of that. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. I'll try to do my best to answer everything, because there has not been very much information or reviews of this machine. It is an investment, so you want to be sure about what you're getting. I'm going to drink this coffee, regret it when I'm up all night. subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that usual business, and I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully slightly less caffeinated, or not, whatever.